Welcome to Beyond the HUD, where we talk gaming, life, and everything in between. With me here, I have Kevin, a longtime friend. I think it's been 15 years?
I'd say just about, maybe a little bit more.
We don't really have a topic to talk about for this podcast episode, but that's kind of the point of a lot of this, is for us to just kind of freely talk about whatever we feel like in the moment.
Yeah, it's an honor for me to be here. One of the biggest fans of the Beyond the HUD podcast before it had a name. It was a Diablo series.
Yeah, it was Diablo series.
Yeah, it's a very, I think, on a personal level, it reminds me of conversations that we used to have, and I always look to tune in. I'm very happy to be here because usually when I'm listening to, whether it be Beyond the series or the Diablo series, I'm on a walk by myself, and there's a lot of times I've wanted to just interject and give my 2 cents, but now that I'm able to actually respond, it's great.
Yeah, for years, Kevin and I have talked about having kind of like a talk show or a podcast where we talk to each other and just kind of shoot the shit about various topics, mostly gaming. I do plan to have other friends on in the future. They will be introduced, just like Kevin. We've been talking about having recordings of us talking about various things in the past, and finally we're kind of doing it here, and I want to get everybody involved. So here it is, episode 1. Technically, I mean, the last episode, you could consider it episode 1, but
yeah, I guess you could. I'd like to just take a little trip down. And personally, how I feel like this all started, at least for me, is when I coined the idea of liminality, which on the surface, the name means nothing but a fad during that time period. But it was this liminality, or liminal spaces in general, were just kind of a shared obsession that we had for a little bit. And I felt that to make a private blog between me, you, and one of our other friends, just to discuss our thoughts, and also when we have periods of not talking to each other, whether we're just busy with life or just something comes up, we're able to just kind of post on there and be able to stay connected with whether our struggles or what we're looking forward to. So it's nice that we're able to actually speak to each other like human beings, and hopefully one day we'll be in the same room and we'll be in that classic podcast setup. Big headphones with the open ear and the
yeah,
stupid boombox microphone.
with the big old microphones. Yeah. Which kind of segues us into how Kevin and I relate, or what our friendship is built off of. I would say originally we just enjoyed playing the same games, like Team Fortress 2 and Counter-Strike Source and stuff like that. But over time, I think Kevin and I, as we aged and became adults, we found a commonplace in how much we love philosophy and just talking about finding our own meaning and purpose in life. And that's a lot of what we do together when it comes to projects or just conversational topics.
Yeah, I think it's all normal to say that our friendship started to mature just because we were children. We would get on, we would fuck around, whatever game we were on, and just have a good time all around. But as we grew up and we had our own experiences separately, it's almost as a divine fate that we are still friends, and we have this very strong and core bonding on not just philosophy but other aspects of just our lives and how we convey and how we live our lives as well. So it's a very fascinating thing that we're able to just sit here after so long of talking about doing something like this and really open ourselves up. Yeah, now I know we've wanted to get everybody on at one point and just talk about our friendship from a in a cumulative way from start to beginning of the origins and when we met this person, when we met that person, certain events, and this is the start of it,
Yeah.
And I think that that brings us to our next, not our next topic, like we have any, but it just thinking out loud of the importance of the experiences we had over the internet. And I know this is something that we've talked about before last summer where we all got together. It's just, well, I'm very grateful that we had these experiences over the internet. I know for a fact that it would be much better if it was in real life.
Yeah, and it's something that's definitely still, I don't know if I would consider it new, but it definitely is still being introduced into becoming a norm in modern day, like, socializing. Kind of this idea of, yeah, I've known you for 5 plus 10 plus years, but technically I still haven't met you. That is kind of a weird concept to think of for people that are, I don't know, like boomers and stuff.
Yeah,
it's just a strange concept, and it's always interesting to see how your personalities get along together in person. That was definitely, I didn't expect to have so much fun the first time we met. For those of you that are listening, we met for the first time in real life. Well, technically we met years before it, but I don't even consider it real because we spent 2 hours together, and we were kind of, we were at a LAN. We were at a LAN party, like a public one. It was kind of poop and pee. So
yeah, we were pretty whacked out. Long drive. Sat down for a couple hours.
Yeah,
it was.
And we stayed up the whole night before playing Rust.
Yeah,
you remember that? None of us went to bed.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. We were excited, but it just didn't pan out the way we wanted to, and I think it was just because we were so young and we really didn't have the opportunity to stay in that place for literally more than a day.
Yeah, it was just on a whim. We really wanted. We took advantage of the opportunity, and I don't know. It was worth it. I think it's a good experience to have.
Yeah,
it was cool.
I'm sad to say that I don't remember as much as I want from that, just because there were so many gaps.
Yeah, I think we were just so tired. You combine that, just being really tired, but also kind of excited or anxious at the same time. It was weird.
It did feel surreal as well, and I wouldn't say I'm a socially shy person, but I don't like being around a lot of people that I don't know, especially in that environment. It did also kind of suck that where we were sitting, you were pretty far away. You were at the end of the desk with Max.
Yeah.
I don't know if we want to name drop real people. You can probably blur that out. I don't know what you think about that.
No, that's fine. We'll be introducing Max in a future episode. He's also an important piece to our friend group.
Yeah, that is very true.
That we also originally played a lot with on Rust.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of a universal thing with all of us, except for some other friends, but still equally important was we all just played Rust, or Legacy Rust, to be more specific.
Yeah, to separate ourselves from the current game, I guess.
Yeah. But yeah, so we met at the LAN years and years ago. I think I was, I don't know, 15 maybe, 16? Yeah. Which means you were what, 13?
I think I was turning 14 that year.
Damn.
No, I think I was 14. I was 14.
So yeah, so I was 16 or 17.
Yeah. So
wow. That's crazy.
Just to think, man. It's a long time.
It's
been
getting so old. Long.
I'm getting bald, and it's...
He's getting bald.
It's we're getting old, man. And it's nice that we have these times together where we can just sit down and talk, because the more I realized, just to quickly tangent off of what I'm about to say, when we originally were supposed to do this, Saturday or Friday?
Yeah.
I was just busy that day, but one of the things I really wanted to talk about, if we could have a dedicated topic, was the idea of change. Because I know we've known a lot of people that arguably we've grown up with that have changed, whether for the better or for the worse, but fundamentally changed away from us, and that we now know of instead of knowing that person anymore. Not only has a lot of the people we know have changed, we've also changed in such a way, and as I'm getting older, I'm realizing that I'm starting to change, either for better or for worse, in a more mature mindset, especially with working a full-time job, which is a first-time experience for me. So I'm very, very grateful to have this conversation because it just kind of winds me down, um, gives me an idea of what's going on with you, and if we have more people on here, if you have more than one person on, or whatever the case may be, it's just nice to know what's going on and being able to communicate.
Yeah, we'll have to create a virtual talking stick and pass it around.
Like a little.
That way nobody gets interrupted.
What's that? What is that called? They do it in like relay races. They give you like the baton.
Oh yeah, it's like a little relay baton or whatever.
Yeah, it's like,
all right, it's your turn.
All right, you're at it. Your time's up for talking.
Yeah, no, I think the changing thing is a really good topic that we could have for this. Let's put a pin in it, just so we can finish how we met. So, skip forward years and years. This was probably what, 2 years ago from today? Yeah, to like 2 summers ago, right? Maybe 3. I don't know. Doesn't matter. A few years ago. We all had planned another trip. Went up to where Kevin is, and we all hung out, and we got to meet basically everybody at once. We were missing Max, but almost everybody was there, and I don't know, it was great. We had our ups and downs, but in terms of some goobers, that'll be a topic for another podcast probably. But we made a lot of fun out of the stressful situations that we were in, and I definitely had some of my own learning experiences. The one Kevin likes to get on me about is I don't like beaches. I'm personally not a fan of it, but Kevin loves them, and he convinced me to go to an island with him. And I was like, man, this shit sucks. The whole time I was like, man, it kind of sucks. But by the end of it, I was like, yeah, I can see this is pretty cool.
Just to be clear, it wasn't a kind of a A-B type of thing. It was a kind of a gradual build-up. It's like, I get the point, but it's kind of a one and done thing. And by the time we were coming back from the island on the ferry, he was like, you know what, you got to go there at least once a year,
Yeah. He convinced me that it was cool, and it was. I had a lot of fun of it, and oh, dude, we got to show the picture on the podcast. I'll have it pop up on screen. We found this as we were leaving. We saw a picture of just some random dude on a pole.
Yeah,
you remember that?
Yeah, that was weird.
It's so funny.
Yeah, the place we were at is very active. It's a very active.
It was very
community.
high class. Yeah, and very high class. Like very expensive houses.
Bougie. Very nice. It was a very nice location.
And so to have that photo, just imagine, you're walking through a high class area and you just have that photo sitting on a pole, and and nobody's paying attention to it. It's not a bother, no big deal.
Yeah, and you see that. So let's say for some reason we converted this into like a VR chat scenario where we were in a virtual space. It wouldn't be as funny as if we found it online and sent it to each other over Discord or whatever.
Yeah, no,
it was
it's just like, it's the idea of like, that was real. Like, that's real. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's fucking
online
real.
It's like, it's whatever. Online you see that, it's like whatever, but in real life it's like, damn, that was real.
Yeah.
It's just funnier to another extent, a deeper extent.
Yeah, it's something that I wish that could happen again pretty soon. Life's getting more busy, and it's harder to find time. I'm looking for an apartment, starting my life, and after that, I think once I do get an apartment and hopefully have enough space, I plan on having you guys again. Maybe not all of you. I can't do that. You know what I mean? I don't have the space, but just tangenting off again. I also talked with Blank over here that we've never really, even though we've met each other twice, we've never really had that experience of being alone. And I know that sounds sus, it always sounds a little creepy when a guy we've never been alone together,
Yeah,
but
get you one-on-one, boy.
We never had that experience per se, but that's something I'm looking forward to, having that lifestyle. Having that experience, rather, because I don't think we can maintain that lifestyle forever. Maybe in the future.
Yep. Which kind of brings us into, you wanted to talk about change and how we've changed over time. And I think in order to talk about change, you kind of have to start where you came from. And I think a really good way to start where we came from was, at least personally, I didn't get along with people in real life very well. I didn't have a lot of friends in real life. I did have friends, but I didn't see them as important or as close as Kevin and my other friends online at the time. And so, in terms of importance of who I'm talking to on a daily basis as a kid and growing up, my online friends, which is, it was just very important. And so a lot of our time, if not literally, you could say 90% of our waking time was online if we could do it. It was wake up. If there's no school, we're getting straight on the PC, whatever we're doing that day, whether that's just talking and watching videos together or playing games. Gary's Mod, Dota 2. I think, oh my God, it's completely Skype. Remember Skype?
Yeah, holy shit.
Dude, we used to have Skype calls that would go for multiple days. They would be 24, 48, 70 plus hours long. And it was because even if we were going to school, we would leave our PC on. So when we got home, we just put the headset on and we'd go, hello, anybody there? And boom, somebody would be sitting there or not. And just right back to it.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy when you think just from our parents' perspective, the fucking electric bill that we racked up doing that.
Yeah, I remember hearing about it, and that's eventually why I wasn't able to leave my computer and call all the time. I had to turn it off. It's just too much power, too expensive.
Yeah, it's certainly not an efficient thing to do. It was fun though when it was nice. It was kind of rewarding to see how long you can keep a call going. 100 hours. Sometimes we've got up to like almost a week, which is like 150 hours, which is just it's crazy. Just it's stupid when you think of it now, but it was the type of thing that we took pride in because it just showed like we're friends. You're always talking, and we might not really understand it then at that age, but certainly in the future we're able to really understand that much better.
Yeah, just to put into perspective, that era of when we were doing that was, what was it? Maybe the iPod Touch 4th gen just came out.
I'd say
Discord didn't exist. No. That's another thing that you could just say. Discord did not exist. It wasn't even created, and we were doing that. So it's, nowadays for younger viewers that might seem normal to you to sit in calls all the time, because I think we all do that now, or a lot of us. But back in the day, if you did that, you were a loser.
Yeah.
Like everybody's like, it's like a nerd or a loser. What are you doing on the internet all day? It's boring. There's nothing to do.
Say get a life or something.
Yeah, get a life. Whatever.
Unfortunately now, ironically enough, it has become the norm, which I think it's just not the greatest for us, in particular for the younger generation, because I do regret doing that. Not in the sense of, because I always look at it in a way of like, I met blank. Like just these experiences that I wouldn't have had otherwise without that. So it's just.
But at the same time, it was just too much. It was just too much.
Yeah, it was not sustainable. You can do that as a kid. It's fine because, that's just what it is. You can do that as a kid. It doesn't matter. But when you grow up and when you're older, you have responsibilities, or when you're supposed to have responsibilities, it becomes impossible.
Yeah, you don't have time for it. As well as I think, like, mentally, you just don't feel good doing it.
No.
At least personally, like, it's just nowadays, if I sit on the computer and play a game for more than like 2 or 3 hours straight, I'm like, I gotta get up. I gotta go do something.
Yeah.
At least a little bit.
You get your mind off of things, onto something else, rather. It's not like this is stressing you, but it certainly is not productive.
Yeah, exactly.
To roll back a little bit about the whole, you talking about the friends thing in high school or just growing up. My experience was a little bit different, and I always kind of knew that in the back of my head that I had a pretty active social life as a kid. Like I was kind of out and about and stuff. I was always doing something. I would and Drake would know that I would take like fucking hiatuses throughout. Like I would take hiatuses pretty frequently, but I'd just be doing something else for a long time with other people and just out and about. So, but I would say that it did feel like no matter what, it did feel kind of like a misunderstanding from people. I know that sounds very cliche for, oh, you're a kid or a teenager and you feel misunderstood, like, boo-hoo, everybody does. But in the sense that, like, it was taboo at the time to have, like, online friends. You know, it wasn't normal. It wasn't something a lot of people had. Like, what the fuck do you mean online friends?
Yeah, it was the automatic, oh, it's just some old dude. That was always like the first thing everybody would say.
Yeah.
Oh, so you're just talking to random old dudes with a voice changer. It's like, technology, it wasn't even that good back then.
Yeah, nah, it's... you're not being tricked that it was an old person. Either it was or wasn't, you know?
Oh, well, yeah. The voice changers were just awful at the time. Just editing softwares in general are nowhere near what they are now. Yeah. Nowhere close.
And not to mention AI.
Yeah, you'd be lucky if you got like bunny ears to actually sit on top of your head. They would start appearing like on your eyes and stuff. The filters were just awful.
Yeah, they were like very primitive, which I guess shows our age.
Yeah.
Which is, again,
we're still young though.
Yeah, no, we're not like 40 or even 30. But we're in our early 20s. You might be mid 20s now.
I mean, I'm mid-late 20s. I'm in my late 20s now.
Yeah.
27.
So
about to be 27.
It's still not too old. 30 is a very strong on an athletic level. 30 is still pretty athletic and even better than 20s, depending on the
I've always
sport.
heard life starts at 30. Like old people. Old people always say, "Oh, life starts at 30."
I think it's because you start actually making some real money.
Probably. Either that or like that frontal lobe just kind of like fully, like truly fully kicked in. It's like, it's not, it's not like a solid, all right, you wake up on your 30th birthday and you can see the universe inside your head. It's just kind of like like a gradual, that area, like a gray area, I guess you could say, where you just kind of, your lens is wider. You're seeing more.
Yeah, that's a perfect way to put it. You just grow up. You're wiser. You also, like most people at that point, usually have a career and they make a decent amount of money, and they have enough to kind of be a little more free, go on more vacations. They get married. A little bit before that, then you start having a family, and it depends how you look at it then, bringing that up. But life does start at 30. It starts later, and a lot of like the modern hustle culture, I guess, I don't know if that's died off. It's all about sacrifice your 20s for your 30s. You won't regret it, quote unquote.
Yeah, we're definitely in a pocket, I guess you could say, of time where everything is about hustling. If you're awake, you should be working, type of thing.
Yeah.
Just you can have whatever perspective you want on that.
I've definitely fallen victim to the hustle. Something about me is that I just like to do work, and not like begrudgingly. I do put discipline in sometimes. Okay, I got to get this done or not, like maybe homework or something. But
yeah, I mean, I think it's easy. I think it's not easy. Sorry, that's the wrong way to put it. I think it's easy to fall into it. I think a lot of us are so either both or one, isolated and traumatized. I think a lot of people nowadays have like trauma or just lack of socialization, and it just leads to I don't know. I think it just makes it really easy to fall into a trend. It looks cool, and look how big and strong that guy looks. He looks happy and rich. I should do exactly what he does. And then before you know it, you're blowing your back out, or just blowing yourself out mentally, and it's not really doing anything for you. And that's when you kind of, especially if you're in your mid-late 20s, where you start realizing it's not really about working 24/7. It's about working efficiently. Yeah. Get what you need to get done in the time span that it needs to get done in, and move on to the next thing.
Yeah. I think that's something that is preached too much, and it is a solution for those who can't feel alone, especially with themselves. One of the things that I used to tell myself, and I still tell myself this now because I think there is some merit to it, but idle hands are the devil's workshop. And a lot of people do believe that they heal through work. When they focus on something, whether it be school, their job, a hobby that they want to turn into a career.
100%.
It heals you, and I think there is some merit to that. But in my case, I think I took a little too far, and now my whole world is that. Okay, that kind of didn't really solve anything. It just made a whole new set of problems that I'd rather solve than the ones that I had before.
Yeah, I think the grind set, quote unquote, perspective kind of puts into your mind this, once I get to this next step, I'll be done. Once I get to this next one, I'll be done. And then you get to the next one and you're like, just the next one. And so you're at this constant chasing of the next thing, whatever that is in your discipline that you're learning or working towards.
Yeah, they say you never be, as much as we want to, especially things that we're passionate about, be professional at them. It's the same thing that drives the rest of humanity. So it depends how you look on that, but to base your whole life around it, you hear about the greats, of course, but you also hear about how, like, the rest of the life was just complete shit. It was harsh.
Yeah.
It was, they were cheaters or scammers or just overall bad people, but they were very good at this one thing.
Yeah, I think it completely destroys the separation between work and home life. You remove the ability to come home and just, well, why don't you just have fun on Friday night or Saturday night? Well, because I gotta wake up and grind all day, baby. It's awful. I think that's awful, not only for you, but also your relationship with friends, family, your significant other, your partner.
Yeah, it's definitely,
it puts a strain on it.
It hurts them. I've definitely noticed as of recent, because of how much work taxes me at the end of the day, because I like to put my all into it. And I realize, I'm not spending enough time with my significant other. Hobbies that I used to love are just impossible to do because I've decided to put all my eggs in one basket for the day, and I do that in repeat. So, it's also, it's a whole topic within itself on how to balance that, and maybe not how to, because I don't have the answer for that really, but it's in the sense that the necessity to balance that for happiness, because there is some sort of middle ground that you could quite literally, both in a metaphorical and physical sense, balance on to reap the rewards of meaningful work and meaningful relationships and a meaningful life.
Which, kind of a broken record here for those of you that have listened to my past episodes, but I know I often try to bring up friends and their importance, but it kind of, we'll make it brief just cause, but yeah, I think a lot of us just have friends that aren't that great, and we start to realize that when we're looking for that work-life balance. I want to look forward to when I get home or when I get done with work and get to talk with my friends. I don't want to have to worry about who's arguing about what, drama here, drama that. I just want to hang out with, I want to hang out with the boys. It's that simple, really.
Yeah, I feel that, what I've witnessed within my own immediate life with my friends, and there's, some that some that you don't know. It's very easy to just get swamped down with that, and sometimes that dynamic of, drama and, following up with just, for lack of a better word, bullshit.
Yeah.
It brings a fake sense of meaning, It's like, what do you got to look for? My life is exciting enough. Look how much, look how much drama is going on. It must be important. Or seeking out some type of environment where it's like, I wouldn't say it's dramatic in that sense, but it certainly is. It brings a sort of pseudo energy to your life. So, the example on top of my head is like, going out every night or going out on the weekends, for a drink or whatever. To each their own. I'm not going to bash on somebody if that's what they like to do. They have their reasons, and some people do it because they're single, or they do it just at a low-key spot, just enjoy a drink, whatever you do it for. I think there is a strong association with just the glamour of it and a certain hedonism to it, which may be more controversial than saying that it is strictly for filling up your hole. Not in that way. Filling up the hole in your life.
Yeah, no, I definitely. I mean, that's like a whole topic to talk about. Just the idea of like going out to drink and be silly as you just kind of as you said, filling in the blank space with something. I don't know, something. I mean, you can't even consider. This is just my opinion. You can't even consider when somebody's tipsy or drunk or under the influence. I personally don't even consider that like worthwhile time. There's just making a differentiation here to make sure I'm not, to make sure I'm making sense. Drinking is, in my opinion, totally fine. You can do that as much as you want. It's just the idea of when you pass that threshold from just having a casual beer or two or whatever to, okay, you're kind of tipsy and then almost drunk. When you reach that second and third phase, I think it completely wipes the slate of purpose. Are you going to remember that night, or is that night going to be something that you talk about when you're 30, 40, 50? Probably not. You probably won't care at all unless you did something like absolutely outrageous and then somebody else tells you about it or brings it up and it's like a funny party trick or party story or whatever. But yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. I think I can't even prescribe an age to it, but I think there's definitely a stage in life where you're just kind of done. You stop caring about whether or not what you're doing is cool or not. Kevin and I getting on and looking forward to playing Team Fortress 2. That's probably like the dumbest things a lot of people have ever heard in their entire life. But we just don't care. To us, that is really cool and that's really fun. And we always look forward to the small, simple, really fun, nostalgic things like that. And I think that's kind of the point that you were saying, Kevin, with drop the getting to know a bunch of people, drop the glamour, drop all that. I want to have fun, and I don't really want to deal with all the things that come along with it, the hangover, the whatever else you're doing.
Yeah, I think a lot of people do. They'll bash the staying home on a Saturday night or Friday night just playing a video game, but as I said before, it's to each their own. And, you can argue that, about playing video games, a random Saturday, is this going to make you remember it for the rest of your life or whatever? I don't know, sometimes I like to think it does. Just because it has, there's been many times where, like the games we played where, like, the laughs we have are, like, insane. Like, the moments that you would never believe. Or,
the hardest you've ever laughed in your life.
Yeah, that type of thing. So, a lot of my friends do go out, and that's what they do, and that's what they like. But I don't know. I think it's just not worth it. You don't get anything out of it. You feel a little empty after. Something I've realized. I don't have a lot of experience going to bars, but just going out in general and altering your state, or just somewhere where it doesn't really feel so natural. It's too exciting. You kind of feel like it's all over at the end of the night. It's back to square one. You can imagine yourself as an ion who's not an ion, an atom whose electron is excited at one level, has a lot of energy, vibrant lights and everything, right? And then once the energy's out and the night's over, you're kind of left there with your drained, literally physically drained, but also emotionally drained self, looking for the next.
Yeah, would you say like when you, at least this is just like my perspective on what you're saying. It's the idea of like when we stay in and we play TF2 and have a laugh, watch a video, maybe laugh, whatever. It's about, you feel really happy that it came from home. You know what I mean? We don't have to go out and spend money. We don't have to go out and do whatever to have the fun, to have memorable experiences. It's nice knowing that it's like, man, I don't even have to do anything crazy. I enjoy my friend's presence so much that we don't even have to do anything crazy. We can just hop on a Discord, or obviously if we live near each other, we'll just meet up.
Yeah, just
and
fucking
hang out.
LAN in person at that point.
Either LAN in person, or there were nights where we would just sit by the campfire for hours. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
that to me, and I think that's what Kevin was also saying, is just to us, that's a lot more important. That's a lot more meaningful to us than getting shit-faced drunk at a bar and waking up the next day and having an awful headache and feeling terrible.
Yeah.
We had fun though.
Yeah, we had fun. All the fun we won't remember.
Yeah. It's stupid.
Yeah, there's a time and place to be like that. I know when...
when you're younger. I get it.
Yeah.
I would never judge somebody for doing that. If you're above the age of like 25, 30 though, like maybe it's time, you know.
You must have been one crazy of a fucking...
Just a beer away.
Special occasion or something, you know, maybe a wedding and fucking go crazy, but be hype. But if it's like random Saturday in like July, nothing crazy going on, you just feel good. It's like, yeah, maybe take a step back, man.
Yeah. Find something else to do, something meaningful that's more long term.
It's funny that you bring this up because some people, you know, the whole bar thing and finding that fun, but something that we haven't done in a while and we're waiting for this project to be done is that our fun Saturday, Friday night would be just reviewing old Counter-Strike source maps and that simplicity in that order. It's very funny when you think about it that way. Like, what do these two guys know about having fun?
Yes. So you want to shit on us for going out and partying? What do you guys do? And it's just like, oh, we walk through Counter-Strike maps on Friday,
like really old ones, like made in 2006. The guys probably, you know, kids are probably teenagers too, so it's like it's very ironic,
Oh man, but it's so awesome, and it's like that concern just doesn't exist about whether or not it's cool. That it just doesn't exist. It's so, I don't know. It's just so exciting. It's fun. It'll never get old.
Yeah, it's a very, what's the word? Relieving. Is that the word I want to use?
Yeah, relieving. Yeah. I would say relieving, relaxed. Nostalgic.
Yeah, I'd say it's also nostalgic. Maybe for actually playing the maps, but relieving in the sense that it is relaxing. There's no worries about it. You don't have to do any of this shit. You just get on the map. Let's just go play. Join the server. You know, what do you guys think about this map? Is this map awesome? You know, share your excitement, all of that stuff.
Yeah.
You know, there's not a lot of things that, you know, I'm sure that's what they did back in the day, like fucking reviewing cheese or something, but...
Reviewing cheese.
It's probably nothing else better to do back then. Watching movies.
Yeah, which, you know, we kind of... I know you were saying we should talk about change, and I think that's kind of what we've been doing here, and it made me think, I think old us, like back in the day us, would have hated current us.
Oh, for sure.
I think they would have found us so, like...
Probably intolerable
boring.
And insufferable.
Yeah, just like terrible to be around.
Yeah, it's like, oh, this guy's fucking boring, dude. Holy shit.
You guys are enjoying life? Man, get out of here.
Man, fucking losers.
Yeah.
It's funny when you look at it in that way of what your past self would be doing or thinking about your current. I like to think sometimes that, you know, my past self, especially when I was a bit younger, maybe not in my teenage years, would be proud of the person that I became.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say my teenage self would probably care all that much. It's not much that I cared about when I was younger. Like, it was very kind of, okay, I need to go home, play Dota. And, like, that's it.
Yeah.
That's literally it. Not even homework that I care about.
Yeah, it just like sparked in my mind. I'm curious as to, you know, like back when we went to school, man, I say that like we're fucking old, but when we were going to school, it was only just appearing, like it was only just starting to appear where we started having like technology introduced. We had computers. That's whatever. That always was in the school since the beginning. But when it comes to, like tablets or virtual learning and all that kind of stuff, that did not exist at all until maybe my senior year or maybe like a year or two before, where we started getting like, oh, no way, guys, laptop, Chromebook, like shit like that. And it just makes me wonder what school is like now. I wonder if, like, I don't know.
I think we'll find out when we're parents.
Yeah, that is true. Kid comes home, he's got like an iPad to do his homework. It'd be weird. It'd be very weird.
I think that's what it is now. When I was in school, Chromebooks were kind of like, it was full-fledged. Like, everybody was using the Chromebook. Like, everybody had a Chromebook. Every class pretty much used it. I don't think much has changed in terms of technology. Like, I was on the bleeding edge of it. You can use your phone for class. Things in the classroom are made to be interfaced with your phone.
Yeah, that like only just started happening towards the end of our school, I guess you could say, career. I don't even know if that sounds such a weird school career, but yeah.
High school career. Some people do find it as a career, unfortunately for them. But no, I think it's a little bit. I did hear that they're locking down on phones, like they're putting into pouches that they lock up for the day and they unlock at the end of the day, which is arguable if that's the right thing to do or not. And it's not really something I really have I don't have an opinion on it, but they do have good points, like the emergencies and the idea of property and stuff like that. So who knows?
I don't know.
And I guess a good ending topic is just the future of this. Is this a one-off thing that I'll only show up at, or who's next, or not who's next? You can't know that for sure, because I think Max is somebody that I've talked to about coming on, and he seems kind of like hesitant. He doesn't really want to talk about it.
I think he's just nervous. It is nerve-wracking. You click that, no matter how confident you are, or if you've talked on stream or whatever, when you click that record button, it's like your mind just kind of goes blank for a second.
You're a different person. You kind of have to be a different person.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I get it. But, it is also... You can continue.
In terms of just the future of it, I personally thought this was a lot of fun, and I think that as time goes on, the thing that always excites me the most when I'm talking alone on these, and especially when I'm talking to you on these, is I always get really excited I wonder how differently we'll talk, a year from now. How different will these podcasts sound, and what are the things that we'll talk about a year from now? That's always what gets me excited about it. Getting more efficient, more coherent in how I speak, and just that.
Yeah, I think that's a perfect thing to think, because I'm not the best speaker in the world. I have my verbal tics, I have my shortcomings, my articulation and whatnot, and how I can generate new thought and how I can put my thoughts into paper. I really do hope that this continues. I come back again, obviously. Be like, yeah, Kevin, you embarrassed me on here. I'm still gonna upload it so you learn your lesson.
I'm uploading this just so you feel embarrassed.
It's like, you should feel this is a punishment. But I'm very excited to see not only how I develop as a person, but how our relationship develops over time. People that I normally don't hear a lot from. So, Max, I don't hear much from about, his life, his experiences or whatnot, or whoever you may want to have on here eventually. I'm very excited to see the growth in that relationship between everybody, and overall just looking forward to this. I think that's probably something we haven't really, like, I know you just said it, but I haven't really expressed that much. I've been looking forward to this for a long time, and that I've been kind of bugging you. It's like, yo, when am I gonna get on there? When are we gonna have our chat on there? So,
yeah, I mean, for me, all it comes down to is just, as it is with, like, it's almost weird because you could almost consider podcasts or this like content medium as, you can compare it to when you first meet somebody. You meet them, you know their name, and then you kind of gotta get to know who they are. What do they talk about? How do they talk? So on and so forth. And then once you pass that, that's where you start getting into the more niche topics, I guess. And I guess what I was trying to do is, the first, what is it, 6? Yeah, I think it's like 6 or 7 episodes. It's just me talking. And that was just kind of, who is this guy? Who am I listening to? What is he about? And then now that they kind of know who I am, I felt that, now it's time, especially with adding an actual title to the podcast and everything, what's a better time than now to, hey, here we go. Here's one of the big people that I talk about, or when I'm talking about friends and stuff, Kevin is one of those people. Here he is. And so I think we'll kind of go through that same process for everybody, where it'll be, me or just me and you for a while. And then once they know who you are and they kind of get an idea of who you are, and you've kind of relaxed your shoulders, metaphorically, in how we speak and what we talk about, then we can introduce more and more. And then before you know it, and again, this is another thing I'm excited for, is when we're talking about those niche topics and we have the viewers who also, chime in on it, like, oh my God, I remember that on, Team Fortress 2, or you guys also use Skype? No way, I remember those, like that kind of stuff is always really exciting to think about when it comes to the future of the podcast. So
yeah, definitely. I'm like, I enjoy my esotericism. I like being in an esoteric group, so sometimes I get a little kind of protective of things that I enjoy. I don't want other people to know about it, because usually the more people know, the more it kind of spoils it. That's I know that's kind of a bad belief to have, but this is one of those things that I kind of have that feeling with, ironically enough. But I also do hope that down the line we will find an audience that resonates with the same exact things that we do, has similar experiences, and we're able to kind of like develop a small esoteric kind of community. Nothing crazy, just where everybody can come along who think like-minded. Not really imposing opinion, but just rather talking.
it's kind of like a bowl of thoughts. You're just kind of adding in your own little sprinkles. You're not removing or going against the grain. It's just, here's what I think. Oh, here's an experience I had too, and that kind of stuff. And I think that is really cool. I don't remember what book it was that I read, but it talked about the idea of a school of philosophy where you help each other instead of, oftentimes we look for ways to disprove old information or disprove each other. Whereas instead, this is more so we're building onto each other's ideas. It's oh, hey, this was really cool. Remember this? And then somebody else builds onto that and says, oh my God, I had that experience too. Like, that's great. That was really fun. Or that was a really weird time in internet history, whatever. Yeah, just sprinkling into the bowl of brains. We're all kind of adding our own little parts and pieces into it.
We're all our own person with their own inputs, own experiences. It almost feels right that everything kind of comes into one, and then you have this kind of an amalgamation of just each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just very supportive. It's literally like that simple, you just feel like people relate.
Yeah.
Relate to people.
I think a perfect thing to finish off on, after just saying that, is there is this meme that I saw a very long time ago. I think it was around maybe after COVID, where men will do anything. Men will start a podcast instead of going to therapy.
Yeah, that's us.
Yeah, that's us right now.
Screw therapy. We're doing a podcast.
It's free.
Yep. Yeah. All right. That was good. I enjoyed that. This concludes episode 1. For everybody that came in, thanks for listening. More episodes to come every Friday. Every Friday at I don't know. I think I'm gonna start uploading at midnight. I've noticed the timing doesn't really matter. The views tend to be the same no matter what. So it'll be the midnight of Friday. So technically Thursday night. So expect that. Nice. Thank you, Kevin, for coming on. That was awesome.
It was a pleasure.